You're welcome back to Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 080-96661035. You can as well join us on Facebook as we are live at Ebona, the 103.5 FM. Drop your comment on the comment section of the live video. You can equally stream us online via mixlr.com/gistfm. We are on to Nigerian Tribune. UTME Oloyede tackles private schools over alleged extortion of candidates. Arewa Group kicks against relocation of fire maintenance center from Castena. Plateau Assembly crisis looms as sacked PDP lawmakers about to resume plenary. Lawmaker condemns ex-president Buhari's comments on eliminating Nnamdi Kanu. Lawmaker condemns ex-president Buhari's comments on elimination Nnamdi Kanu. US Abuja kidnappings. Nigerians in US, UK back weekend's joint task force. Relocation of CBN, FAAN, Northern senators appeal for calm. Fulani coalition distances self from Christmas Eve killings in Plateau. ARMTI trains 300 para youths in sustainable expatriate. ARMTI trains 300 para youths in sustainable enterprises. NEPC commits to collaborating with stakeholders for non-oil export development. How to edit images online for free. Still on the stories, making headlines on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Group comments Adeleke's decision on arrest shiftancy tool. How to start a tote bag business with 10,000 naira. Lagos government probes Revolution Plus over alleged land scam. Nigeria's physical environment demands deep understanding of its complexities. ADSC boss Victor Oluwafemi. And that's the much we can take from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. That will also mark the conclusion of all that we have for you on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. We'll now flip over to our WhatsApp portal to bring you reactions this morning. From our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have a message. This one is coming from Comrade Manli Oduago from Odumobosi, and he says, truly, the unity of Nigeria is paramount, without which we cannot hope of re-establish the black personality that should be respected by all humanity and recognized fully as an integral, free, and equal part of human race. President Bola Tinubu and his team should approach the issue of unity and national solidarity realistically, selflessly, fearlessly, and with a singularity of purpose. Positive effort must be made to overcome old prejudice and banish for every Nigeria the terrible atmosphere of national insecurity. Comrade Manli Oduagu from Odumobosi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It's coming from famous Christian. He's joining us from Ifite village, Agolozibo. Thank you so much. We have this message coming from the boss from Okozu, and he says, how can a man be sleeping with his own children? He disavowed jail. Okay, and he says, congratulations to Super Eagles of Nigeria. I hope they will bring back the cup home. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Okukwa Kenneth Okuchuku from Umuobanam, Umuobalishi Kingdom. He says, Japa syndrome Nigeria is having chaos in human development resources. That's brain. Okay, that's brain drain. It affected our economy seriously. And it says child trafficking. Federal government should make a serious law that will affect both the seller and buyer. At least 50 years in prison. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Akede Amoke Onyanabana Omonachi, and he says, bravo to Enugu State Governor for the job well done by settling his own state illegal migrants that were deported back from Libya and Niger Republic, Morocco, and other countries, and also many more area still coming. That student loan by the president should be sent direct to those that applied for that, not giving someone to pay them. And also, what is the work of NAFDAC? If Nigerian Panadol is not good, is own risk, because our constitution did not tell us that CBM must not be taken to another place in Nigeria. Therefore, it will be seen as a childish way of thinking if the protest was allowed to hold. Ufondo continued and said, we hope Uzodinma do well in his second term. My answer to this question is capital no, because as he did not do well in his first tenure, how do you think that he will do well now that he is not preparing ground for another time in office? He has failed woefully. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Comrade Ibudu from Abagana, and he says approval of digital tracking network is a welcome development. What is remaining now is implementation. May former Ondo State Governor Akeredolu rest in peace. Congratulations to the Super Eagles on their victories. Comrade Ibudu continued. Okay, and he says I want to quickly. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we have this message. It is coming from Waloto Patrick from Unteje, and he says, I had said it for countless times, and I will continue to say that restructuring is the panacea to Nigeria's complex problems. For those who may not understand the meaning of restructuring, and also for those who are afraid of restructuring, what restructuring means is another term is devolution of powers to regional governments as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. What this means is that more powers and responsibilities should be shifted from the federal government to both state and local governments. And by doing so, the federal government will have more time to focus on national issues such as the issue of security, minting and printing of currencies, postal affairs, etc., while states and local governments, being governments that are nearest to the people, will concentrate on implementing programs and policies that will better the lives of people of their individual states. And it will also enable each state to develop at her pace. So I don't see the reason why some people will be afraid of restructuring. It is coming from Waloto Patrick from Monteja. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Chike Obata from Obini Titiokozo. And it says, we lose hope already in this Tinubu regime. Anything anything said by Christian Association of Nigeria is false. Relocating CBN to Lagos is not the best. Restriction calling is much. Then he says federal government should do something about it. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message. It's coming from Valentine Edene from Mpo, and he says, when Buhari was a president of Nigeria, no one talks against him, but now some people began to voice out that he put Nigeria backwardness, and he says Mr. Tinubu took over, and Christian Association of Nigeria spokesman still not telling him that masses are dying, hunger triggered much crime in the nation, and all that, but urging Nigerians not to lose hope on the Tinubu's government. Any father that puts much fear on his children has indirectly torn his family apart. Christian Association of Nigeria, are you with us or against us? Valentine Edene from Mumbo. He continued and says, those of them hope, those of them will not do well unless God forces him to. He came to ruin. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message. This one is coming from White Lion of Africa, and he says, FCT minister should, as a matter of urgency, tackle the constant attacks in the territory. Wike Fubarasaga. Wike should now concentrate on FCT. The rate of crimes in FCT is becoming alarming. We hear of bandits on daily basis. The government should protect our borders with neighboring countries. The federal government should sit up. The bandits, kidnappers are almost covering every state. May God help us all. And he says a relocation of FAAN and other ministries to Lagos is a welcome development. The hardship people face to get a visa will end. Even the capital territory was located from Lagos to Abuja. Okay, was relocated from Lagos to Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Still on our WhatsApp portal this morning, we have this message that says, congratulations to Super Eagles for their 1-0 winning yesterday. Akedi Amoke, Onyena Bana Umunachi, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have this message that says, asking if Uzodema will work in his second tenure is like asking if goat can kill lion. On elimination from federal government of Nigeria, let them think twice before they do or say something to all Nigerians. I just okay, day one Canada watch. Ada Black from Udume. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And now we flip over to our SMS portal to bring you more reactions. And this morning we have this message coming from Honorable Onyedeka Osakwe. And he says the likes of Wike is not supposed to be one of any cabinet as he has been polarized with recklessness and greed. The Labour Party's hike of nomination fees is to scare away people of integrity and from contesting. Ababio, you will know if the APC is doing well and give yourself a scorecard before you will dream of producing a governor. Wonders shall never end. He continued and says, as a lion is crippled, sheep and oxen came from a return wrestling match in his house. Now, the security gadgets in Nigeria has become moribund and obsolete, and the kidnappers and bandits are taking the opportunity to harvest and plant more seedlings as the Gironde is but fertile, okay, for them. And he says, I wonder why somebody will arrogate himself to high position and fail to accomplish the paraphernalia of the office he held. The problem in this so-called nation is okay. In this nation is wrong choice of people parading their affairs. And he says, as we are blessed with abundant human and natural assets, Nigeria, then a giver, has become pauper. Okay, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Still on our SMS portal, we have this message that says Christian Association are using Heavenly Hope engraved method to start defending present administration before Nigerians. Onyekachi from Iyawa, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a message that says the recent redeploy of central bank from Abuja to Lagos is not the problem facing the country. BKT, because the issue is how to tackle our poor security affairs. Okay, your message is not complete, but it's coming from Wingate Ikechukwu Nwakeze from Okozu. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now we'll flip over to our Facebook portal to bring you more reactions. And on our Facebook portal, we have this message coming from Dr. Mrs. Mma Olebara from Owerri. And she says the judiciary of any land is always associated with untainted justice and integrity and must be seen to remain so. Here in Nigeria, it needs total overhaul and sanitation. And sanitization. And it says what we are seeing in Rivers State is embarrassing, where one court will uphold and another nullifies. Let's pray that God guides and gives Fubara the wisdom to move the state to a higher and better level. We have a message coming from Chukwuma Onyoka, and he says insecurity is getting out of hand in this country. Government should do something. Chukwuma Onyoka from Nimo. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, this is the spot where we'll call it a day on this particular edition of Newspaper Headlines on Airborne at the 103.5 FM. Remember, it comes your way weekdays in the morning. Once is 7 o'clock, so keep a date and don't touch the dial of Airborne at the 103.5 FM. Once it's 8:20, we'll be back with Birthday Splash. Till we meet again, I am Martin. Have a fabulous morning.
Man is a political animal. That's why we all have our views on politics. Political View comes to you at Ebonade 103.5 FM. It's Martin Ifeanyi Shubuli is here every Monday, 3 o'clock p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's all about the day-to-day activities in the Nigerian political space. Views of political actors from various political parties on political process. Views of labor leaders, and most importantly, your views. Views of the common Nigerian. Tune in to Ebonade 103.5 FM or you join online via mixlr.com/gistfm every Monday and Saturday. What are your political views? Keep a date.
Family is the foundation of the society. Now, this never on 103.5 FM. Wherever I got it, every Tuesday, Friday, 3 to 4 p.m.
How best can we talk about the challenges we are having on our streets, our community, our society in general? Street report. If we do not address these challenges on Ebonade FM, who will? As the happenings around us get as complicated as they can be, Street Report is here to make sense of it all. Street Report is causing social change across your streets. In your community, Street Report is here with hardcore journalism to get to the roots of our problem. Why don't you join me, Martin Ifeanyi Shubuli, as number the first every Friday, 4:30 p.m. on Ebonade 103.5 FM as Street Reports unfolds in your face. On Emas Ebonade corner 24/7, 24/7.
Biko nwanne m bekele ka m jụọ gị, kedu ebe m ga-enweta ezigbo MC maka mmemme a na-akwado?
Ị ka ma ajụ kpọọ Shaka the latest MC in town ka occasion gị anwa bụrụ ịgba. Ị na-achọ ezigbo MC maọbụ DJ ma agbamakwụkwọ go, child education go, imepe ụlọ, ọ bụzi ụmụ akwụkwọ na-eme graduation maọbụ